Hello, everyone. We are on episode 11 now of our Love is Blind Season 10 watch along. Episode 11 was titled See Where the Chips Fall.
Exactly. Yep. And we definitely are getting into the stage where we're starting to see, people walking down the
Yeah,
aisle.
or not walking down the aisle.
Yep.
So we'll just go couple by couple. So let's go ahead and talk about the Connor and Bree storyline throughout this episode. So they had the conversation on the train
Right.
towards the beginning of the episode, and she mentioned that her family is telling her that they feel like he's not getting the best of her. Is that what you got from that?
Yeah. I mean, she essentially described how her work has been very demanding, and it's requiring a lot of her time. And Connor essentially professed his love for her and said, even though you are extremely busy, I still I feel love from you. I'm excited to be with you. I'm excited to spend time with you. And he essentially said that he felt that she was still making an effort to um, make the relationship a priority. So he really, uh, kind of did a lot of professing of his love for Bree on that train. We didn't quite see Bree reciprocate that in every way, but she seemed to be grateful for Connor's making that romantic gesture and making an effort, and definitely seemed to be moved by his kind words and the fact that it definitely felt genuine that he was um, just enjoying his time with her.
Well, let's jump to their next conversation where my interpretation of it is that some of the things that Chris was saying were getting to Bree. That some of the let's go back an episode where Chris was talking to her and he's like, "You need an alpha. You need." The way he was delivering it was like a complete
Yeah.
douchebag. But
Yeah.
some of the things that he was saying, these could be things that are important to Bree, and maybe she doesn't necessarily want Chris, but then it kind of brought to the forefront of her mind that these are some things that I want in a partner, and Connor isn't giving me these things.
Oh yeah.
And it just seemed like it seemed like Chris kind of sabotaged their relationship because after they had that conversation, she doesn't seem like she's as invested in the relationship.
Yeah. Well, I felt like Chris. First of all, I don't think what Chris said was accurate. I think that when it comes to Bree, there were hints along the way before that conversation, that said a lot to me about who she was and who she was looking for in a relationship. When she walked into his place, she was looking at it like, what kind of lifestyle do you live? Where's the maturity here,
Remember that
right?
show Room Raiders?
Oh, I think
You
so. I
on
do.
MTV? Yeah,
Yeah.
like where they would pull people. It was clearly scripted, but they would pull people out of the rooms,
Right.
and then someone would go to the room and they would look through all their stuff and they would decide if this is someone that they
Mm-hmm.
want to go on a date with.
So I think there are these little kind of hints that were showing up. His lifestyle, the way that he lived, that he didn't seem to be um, sophisticated,
Mature. Yeah.
mature, or cultured. Another aspect of it, when she tried to open up and have a deep conversation with him to say, hey, you notice that none of us are really talking about what this experience has been like. And I think that Bree just needed somebody who is probably older. I think she needed a man who is a little bit more cultured, emotionally intelligent.
Vic.
It
Like
says,
another version of
yes,
Vic.
yes,
Yeah.
somebody that's willing to engage in intellectual, meaningful conversations with her, and also too is somebody that, and not what Chris talked about, like alpha male. You need somebody with a bank account. I don't think that that's what she needed. I just think that she needed to feel like she was with somebody who could take initiative. And I have to say that what Bree was looking for, I think it's the same thing that Kia was looking for. You know, we need somebody that can make a decision, that can also serve as a guide in the relationship. And I have to say, other than Vic, none of these guys have that. So it sounds like to me it could be like a generational thing. I don't know what it is that women are having to be the assertive ones in relationships, and are having to, you know, guide, be the guide, and set the tone of the relationship. You know, that I don't think Bree wants to do that. I don't think she wants to be with somebody that's, you know, telling her what to do.
Yeah.
But I also think for her, I think she wants more of a partnership.
Yeah.
And I think Connor is okay with sitting back and supporting her as she is her independent boss lady self. And she wants him to be a boss too.
Yeah. And there are a lot of women that want a man like that, and it seems like Connor has a lot of love to give someone. And he had some comments throughout the season that were a little bit suspect, but overall he seems like a good guy.
He said, I love our conversations, but at the beginning he said
like
she never shut the F up. Yeah. So I don't know how we went from that to so.
But in a nutshell, what happened during that conversation was she told him that she didn't want to get married to him at this time.
Right.
That she hoped that he asked her, well, could you see yourself marrying me at some point? And she said, I hope so. And it sounds like she's just kind of half in, half out, whereas Connor is both feet in still. He's still trying to make it work. He's continuing to pursue her and try to make something happen, but I just don't see her sticking around with him. There's just things that she's looking for that he's not going to be able to offer to her.
Well, I just think also too, she was honest with him, but I think probably it would have been best for her to just say, I think we just need to have a clean break. It almost kind of felt like it was a little bit of a limbo situation. And the things that she was saying was not like, oh, we can work on this. It was essentially like, I don't even know if you are somebody that I could even see myself romantically with in the future.
Yeah.
So.
And he was crying. He was definitely bummed out about it. But if it's meant to be, it'll work out. And if not, there's definitely women out there that he would be a good match with. And
but I do think out of kindness, she should have just been very clear.
Well, she didn't have to point out all his faults too.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that was necessary. I mean, you could have just told him that I don't feel the way that you do right now, and I would like to continue this relationship. You don't have to sit there and nitpick every little thing that he does that you don't like. I mean, that's not, to me, that wasn't necessary.
Yeah, and I couldn't tell if she wanted to continue the relationship at all.
No.
And then, but Connor, let me just say this. People will always do and say things to you when they think they can. That's why Chris felt like he could talk to him the way that he did and treat him the way that he did. Connor has got to learn how to be more assertive.
Yeah.
I think that is the lesson, and it doesn't mean he has to change who he is as a person, because he handled her with a lot of grace, and he handled the situation like a gentleman. But I do think that ending that conversation to say, you know what, when she said, well, I don't know what you're going to, I would have just said to her, well, you don't have to ever wonder what it's going to be, because we're not going to be in a relationship. That doesn't mean I don't wish you well. But that was his moment to assert himself and show some level of confidence in who he is. Because it would have been more impactful for her to hear him say, well, you're just making it seem as if you can do what you want to do and come back when you're ready. No, not everyone's going to sign up for something like that.
Yeah, so that's I guess we have one couple down, so we know that they're not getting married. So
nope.
Nothing to no predictions to make there. We did also have some very interesting interactions between Devontae and Brittany, where it's flipped. So now it's the female pursuing the male, trying to convince him, are we going to get married? I mean, do you like me? I mean, that's kind of been the running
Yes.
theme of their relationship the entire show. And every time they have
Yes.
a conversation, Devonte can never. He just doesn't seem like he's able to fully commit to the relationship in a similar way to how Brittany expressed in that conversation. Even when she put him on the spot and she's like, "Are you leaning?" She said something like, "Are you leaning towards saying yes?" And he sat there and he thought about it for a moment. Then he's like, "Well, I'm 98% of." No, you're not. No,
No.
you're not. You're definitely
No.
not.
Even if it was 98%, you're going to go yes.
She said, I'm. She told him, "I'm in the position where I'm at right now. Is I would say yes." But he
Yeah.
wasn't there, and he had to he had to think about it. And another thing he brought up too in that conversation was he wanted them to have a prenup. And you and I had a conversation about it. I gave my theory on why, whether it's the male or the female in the relationship doesn't want to have a prenup. And my theory was that person has ulterior motives. They and they're. I was thinking maybe from Brittany's perspective, it's a win-win because if he is wealthy like that, if they were to get divorced, then she may have a windfall. Or if they work out in a relationship, she got what she wanted also, that she's married. So I think my theory was that it takes away some of the insurance that she has getting married to this guy. Because if you have a prenup and you guys break up, then you just wasted all your time for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Maybe that's not nice of me to view her in that light, that she may have those intentions, but you had a different theory on it. Why
Oh,
people fight? Why people don't want to always get prenups?
well, I think for her, I seen it more of her background and her culture and her experiences. She comes from a close knit family. Her parents have been married for years. And so, in her mind, a prenup indicates that we are preparing for the end, right? And, it's kind of like, you know, I think for our perspective, it's like being a doomsday prepper, right? It's not to say that, we're going to get, hit by a massive earthquake, but if we should, guess what? We've got supplies and the things that we need to be able to live and function until help arrives, right? So everybody is going to look at preparation for potential disaster differently. And I think that started there with just her own experiences with her family. But then I also think that Brittany's response to Devonte has to do with the fact that he does not affirm her in any way at all. So she never knows where she stands with him. Just like when they were in the hot tub and she goes, yeah, like when we were back in the pods and I had 16 boyfriends and you had 60 girlfriends, and he goes, "Oh yeah, those were the days. Those were the days."
Well, you made a comment too that anytime
Yeah.
it's never a compliment. It's always poking
Uh,
fun at her.
yeah, it's always
And
some backhanded "you snore." Oh yeah, I'm gonna call you. I can't remember what silly name he came up with. I don't know, it was like Bowinkle or something like that. He never says anything kind. Devonte never says anything to her that is kind.
I don't remember him ever saying that she's. Did he ever say she's pretty? Did he say it when they initially met?
To me, my thing is that even if I don't find you attractive, I can still say something kind about you. He doesn't even. Let's take even attraction out of the picture.
Nothing about her personality.
Never
Yeah.
once does he say to her, "You know what? I can be a real jerk, and you have always been very patient with me," or "You're very thoughtful," or "You know what? You have a heart of gold because I am a real jerk sometimes, and you still find a way to be kind to me." Even in the moment of prayer, here she is praying over their relationship, talking about bless Devontae, bless our relationship, all of this stuff. And then when it was time to end the prayer, he doesn't go, "Oh, hold on, wait, let me add something to this."
Amen.
He just goes, "Amen." That was it.
Nothing. Nothing about her.
He, I mean, she keeps talking about, "Oh, are you attracted to me?" Let the attraction thing go. Are you? Can he say something just generally kind and considerate of you?
Yeah.
I mean, can he be just a friend to you? Because if somebody can't even be just a friend, I can be kind and affirming to people that I'm not in bed with. I can be kind and affirming to a coworker, a person I meet on the street. I don't see Devontae giving her anything. Anything.
So this is a kind of a weird question to ask, but
Mm-hmm.
do you feel like they've been intimate yet, or no?
Mm-hmm.
You think they have?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He's been, but I think what it is that Devontae has a lot of self-esteem issues, and she has self-esteem issues. But what he has learned to do is that he makes her feel less than him. And by making her feel like she never knows where she stands, it always puts him in a position of power. So she has given her power over to him.
Because she's always wondering what he thinks.
She's
So,
always
yeah.
consumed about what he thinks about her, and as long as he knows that she's consumed about he thinks about her,
He's steering the
he will
relationship.
use it.
Yeah.
He will use and abuse because that is who he is at this moment in his life. He's a user and an abuser. And even though abuse can show up in so many different ways, it doesn't have to be somebody hitting you, cursing you. Sometimes it is emotional abuse. And what he does to her is mental and emotional abuse. She's just not able to see it because she's in it. She doesn't see that a lack of affirmation, those little comments are nasty. He didn't even have to say that. Oh, you snore so loud. Why do you need to say that? Why, if that's somebody, even a friend, why would you say that? He does it though to belittle her, and he thinks by belittling her that it somehow uplifts him.
So it wouldn't be a big deal if he was saying nice things to her and complimenting her a lot, but there's no balance there. It's just anytime he says something to her about who she is as a person or something about her appearance, it's negative.
Well, she has to learn there'll never be a balance there. He will never balance it because of the fact that he doesn't want her to feel confident in herself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you and we poke fun at each other, but there's love there, and we compliment each other, and we're gracious with each other. Yeah. There in their relationship, I understand what you're saying. You've made a good point too, that he doesn't say anything.
No, he was abusive right from the beginning. Right from the beginning, he hit her with a comment to make her feel less than. It was the one thing that she can't change about herself.
Yeah.
What did he do? That was the first thing he went in. You're not my type because of the color of your skin. It wasn't like you can you can lose weight. You can change that, but she can't change her ethnicity. So right from the get-go, it was like, oh, you have been
downgraded. Yeah.
Yes, in my viewpoint, and I am going to pinpoint something you will never be able to change about yourself.
Yeah, you have to win my favor.
And that would have been the first sign for her, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm done. Because if you don't like me for the color of my skin, we're done. There's nothing more to be said. But because of the fact that she continues to pursue and pursue and pursue, and I would only guess that this is not the first time she's been in a relationship like that. Because even though love is blind, you don't have to look at somebody. When people are attracted to toxicity, they will find it. It's like a sign on their forehead. Every a-hole in the room make their way over here. People can walk into a room and find the a-holes.
Or good guys, they don't even give the time of day.
Yeah, because it's what she is. It has to do with unresolved issues within herself. The moment she can start feeling confident the way that Kia was, and let me say this, also the way that Bree was. Because she didn't settle. She didn't say, I'll make this work with Connor. She said, I don't know if I want to be with you. And that's okay.
We said that. That was good that she was honest with him. It would have been terrible if she stood him up at the altar. I mean, that would have been even more embarrassing for him. So it was good that she told him beforehand.
And she didn't assume that just because this didn't work out, that is the end all to be all. It's like, oh, I'll never find this again. She was like, hey, love is out there. It just may not be with you.
Yeah, she was saying, I don't know if you're my person or not.
Yeah. And I feel like Brittany needs that.
Brittany's forcing it. So two predictions for you with them. First one, does she sign the prenup? And two, do they get married?
I think at this point, Brittany would do whatever Devontae asked of her. And like I said, I don't know why she's like that. I don't know where that comes from, but it's something that she needs to work on. Do they get married? I think that what he would do is that he's just going to drop her at the altar.
So he's not going to. So they go to the altar. She says yes. He says no.
He's going to say no, but I think he's also going to let her feel like there's something that she hasn't done yet for him. That's how people like that operate. He's going to always make her feel like she's not quite good enough. But you're not this. You're not this. And so the moment that she gets tired of being tortured and is ready to walk away, she's going to feel a lot better. Because who wants to be in a situation like that? I'd rather be by myself. Or get a dog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like.
So they're if I was to make a prediction on them, I think that she doesn't go along with the prenup. And I think he uses that as his excuse why he doesn't want to marry her. So he'll say something like that at the altar. Or they don't even get to the altar. Or next episode, she's like, I don't want to do the prenup, and he just calls it off. Because he feels like that's his out.
She'll sign that.
She'll sign it?
Oh, yeah, because she concedes to everything.
Yeah. So your prediction is she signs the prenup, but he stands her up at the altar. Okay.
Yes, because she concedes to everything, and everything that she concedes to, and when anything he says, she has an excuse for it that always puts him in a better light. And he loves that dynamic because it then allows him to feel better about himself. The guy doesn't feel good about come on, Sinbad, Shazam, okay? He's not. Let's just be honest. He is not like girlfriend could get a whole lot better. Believe me, yeah. Okay. At least somebody with a neck.
So we'll jump through some of the other couples where not much happened. So we had Jordan and Amber. They went on a cute little date, and not much happened there. They seemed like they're okay. They made up.
I've avoided saying it, but I had to let it out. We gotta have at least Brittany get a man with a neck. Okay.
All right. Who else we got? We have Alex and Ashley. And did she say did she imply during the conversation, or did she say that the dad's not going? Did she just say that the dad's not going to be there at the wedding?
She just kind of made it like a snarky comment to me. But I will say this, Alex has a neck, so that's one thing he has going for him. But to me, it just felt like it was it was just this snarky comment. He has a neck. You know what I mean? What is that saying they say when it's like, you may be the head of the household, but the woman's the neck? It doesn't work when a man doesn't have one. So, maybe she's the neck. She's the neck he's missing. So, but with Alex, I think it's the situation. Ashley reminds me a little bit of Brittany. And the reason I say that is because she'll ask him these questions. She'll hit him with all of these things. Oh, God. My humor, I'm sorry. I'll try and limit the jokes, but, I just gotta tell the truth. But she'll kind of hit him with all of these these like CSI questions, like, I'm gonna put you through the on trial here. But then she will also make excuses for him a lot, and then she'll talk about how great he is, and I felt like in that moment in that conversation with oh my I feel like in that conversation she was kind of saying a lot of once again you use the word affirming, but a lot of things about Alex that expressed her excitement about marrying him. And then she made kind of like a snarky comment about her dad. Well, we'll see if he's going to be there. And
did she say he wasn't going to be there, or she said that we'll see if he'll be there?
yeah, something like that. We'll see if he gets an invite. Something kind of snarky like that.
Okay.
And then he said, well, I think he'll be supportive. And she's like, we'll see. And I'm like, hey.
Usually one person looking out for you.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, you don't make the best decisions. And we can see why. We can see why she doesn't make good decisions.
Yeah.
Because her priorities are all messed up.
Yeah.
She spends more time focused on whether somebody's attracted to her and whether or not she's getting
sexy time that night.
Yes. Than about other things. Or she'll ask questions of him, and then as soon as he seems like he's getting upset, she'll back off. Like, what do you think he's going to do? What do you think is going to happen? If you were really to ask him,
he would leave, and she doesn't want him to leave. So
there
like
you go.
It's almost like she's asking questions and she's getting the answers that she doesn't want. Or maybe, I don't know what she...
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. She asks questions
she doesn't
and
want to know
probes,
the answers to. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and probes, but the moment she starts to see him get agitated by the questions, she's afraid he'll walk.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, hey, no, I'm going to prioritize my need to know.
How many lies has
above
she caught him in
your discomfort.
Yeah, she's caught him in so many lies, and she just keeps glossing over all of the things that she's discovered about him. Like,
yeah,
the fact that he had this relationship going on in Austin and he completely lied about it on multiple occasions. And then he gets cornered.
Yeah, he was living with this lady.
Yeah, so he's just shown to not be trustworthy.
No.
And going into a marriage with someone, and they can't be honest with you about people that they dated. Like, what is he gonna be doing behind your back?
And I would say this to anybody. Advice I can give any person, man or woman, heterosexual, homosexual, whatever the relationship is. Do not be in a relationship where you are constantly in a state of distress, because that is going to be exhausting. It's not going to be good for your mental health, your emotional health, your physical health. Like, if there are more things going on in your relationship that feel negative, or you're constantly having to ask yourself all of these questions, who is this person? Are they telling me the truth? You have to ask yourself, do I want to do this for the next 20, 30 years of my life?
Hopefully you discover this before you even get married.
Yeah. Because marriage is going to be tough no matter what. And we're at the very beginning stages of marriage. Marriage is going to be tough no matter what. But you should have overall more good times as opposed to bad. And you should be able to work with your partner and have a solid friendship and a vision for your futures.
Michelle Obama said something about her and Barack's relationship that she had a
10
years.
Yeah, she was like, I didn't really like him that much,
Yeah.
But I will say
10 years.
Yeah. But I do think I will say is that those feelings are normal, right? Like, at that stage of her life, she was making sacrifices in her career to help him with his political career.
This is when he was president?
This is before. This is before.
So when he was a senator?
Yes.
Okay.
And, she's raising these two girls. She's a career woman herself. She had her own dreams and aspirations, and and she's kind of helping to help support him in the things that he's wanting to do. And so I would say that it's normal to have periods of time in a relationship
10 years
where,
is a long time, though. That's
well, it's a long time, but I never got the sense that she didn't love him, though. She just said there was a lot of times I didn't like that they were. It's I always got it from the sense that there were times that they weren't on the same page when it comes to what she had envisioned for their life together, because he was embarking on this, obviously, monumental journey, not just for himself but for the world, right? Um, so in doing that, she also mentioned that a lot of her dislike for him at that time had to do with her feeling a sense of like, I'm not fulfilling some of the things that I want to do in my life, or having to, you know, help support. Yes, yeah. So I think that when she sort of explained it, you understood that it wasn't related to not loving him, and recognizing that he had this passion and drive to make a difference. And but when it comes to Ashley and Alex, like, I don't see love there at all. All I see is someone trying to
keep his story straight.
keep their story straight. That and it's not very interested. Alex just never seems very interested to me. A lot like Devontae in that way. He just doesn't seem very interested in Ashley, and then it's always Ashley asking these questions because to ease her own anxieties, and then making excuses for Alex. So
your prediction: do they get married?
oh, so I'm gonna probably shock you a bit. I could see Alex saying yes. But I do think he will ultimately say no. And I can see Ashley saying yes, because I think Ashley is just naturally defiant. I think a lot of Ashley um, going after the men that don't work is because she's also a little bit just defiant.
Okay, so because her dad doesn't like him, she's like, well, I'm going to date him anyway.
Mm-hmm. Because her dad has a little bit of that kind of like, some of the questioning was, one, because he wanted to see who he was, but it was also to kind of poke the bear a bit. Like, I think he's that kind of guy that he does that. He does it intellectually.
Stir the pot.
Yes, yeah. He doesn't do it with his physicality. He does it intellectually. So he likes to poke the bear, and I think he does it on the golf course. He's the type of person that is just how he is. It probably has helped him as being an attorney. Yeah. But he did say she's a lot like me, and I think there's a part of her that also does it because she's defiant, and she likes to fit circles in a square peg. And I'm gonna make it work. I'm just gonna keep trying to make this work. And then she ends up looking like an idiot in the end. And I do believe that when she looks like an idiot, I believe her dad doesn't let her forget it. I think he's the type that he pokes fun at it. And I think he would bring it up at a family event.
Doesn't let her live it down, yeah.
Yep.
So my prediction is they don't get married either. So I guess we're in agreement on that one.
Oh, yeah.
We also had Vic and Christine. They're definitely getting married. I'll go ahead and we can just jump right to their prediction. They're definitely getting married. They seem like they're soulmates. I don't know if I was to see them. I mentioned this earlier in the season. If I was to see them out in public, if they were friends of ours, I would assume they'd known each other for years.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, why aren't you guys married yet? So it's interesting that we haven't seen one fight with them. They've just been just lovey-dovey the whole time, from the pods to the initial meeting to their dates outside the show to now.
Yeah.
There's no way they're not getting married. If they don't, I would be absolutely shocked. That would be one of the biggest shocks I've seen in Love Is Blind history.
Oh
if they don't get
yeah.
married.
Oh yeah, I'd be really shocked. Or if it turned out that things didn't play out the way that they did on camera, or we learned something about Vic that we didn't know, or something about Christine that we
yeah.
didn't know. But I really believe that, if there's something good that comes out of the show and the experience, it's those couples that were able to find each other and make it work. And so that, I think that's a positive thing. And I'm sure Nick Lachey and Vanessa Lachey would probably say, we don't do the show. Obviously, they get paid, right? But we don't do the show with the expectation that every couple's going to work.
No, they're a great example of what a healthy, functional couple looks like.
Oh yeah, and it took a while for them to get there. They talked about that,
Yeah. Yeah. Are you talking about Nick and? Are you talking about
Oh,
Nick?
I'm sorry.
I was
I
talking
thought
about
you
Nick
were.
and Christine.
Yes, Vic and Christine. I think just the way that they communicate to each other, they're very loving with one another.
Patient,
And I thought it was Christine's emotions when talking about how she feels for Vic. That was genuine.
He does as well.
Yeah,
he expresses his feelings for her, and he's very understanding of her past, and also like he seems to embrace what she would consider flaws about herself, and vice versa. So they're accepting of each other's.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really call them shortcomings, but the things that maybe they're insecure about, they're very understanding, and it's just a very mature relationship, and it's nice to see, because some of the seasons of Love Is Blind, the couples are just off the rails, and it definitely makes you a little bit. I'm sure if you're single, it makes you a little bit hopeless, because you're like, oh man, this is what it's like for me dating, and it's not just me; it's like this for other people too. And then I think you'd get a little bit disheartened. But there is someone out there. If you are single, or maybe you're in a relationship and you're not happy, there definitely is someone out there where you can have a relationship like that with them.
Mm-hmm.
If you may have to work on some things yourself. You have to make sure that you're in a good place, that you're you love yourself, that you're in a good place financially, you're happy with yourself, you're in a good place to be able to meet someone where you're going to be able to be clear, your mind's going to be clear, and you're going to be able to give them your best self.
I always say, when you're ready for a relationship, when you're okay with not being in one.
Yeah. And that's typically when you find a person that you're meant to be with, is when you least expect it.
Yep. And when you're not necessarily like, I could take it or leave it. Like, my life is good. I feel fulfilled. And I think a lot of the times when people are in that position and they're able to find someone, it's because of the fact that the things that we see Brittany and Ashley wrestle over, you're just less likely to wrestle over those types of things. You can walk away and not have any issues, and then that opens the door for you to meet someone who is the right fit. Because if you are continuously engaging in a relationship with someone that isn't, that blocks your blessings. It makes no room for Mr. Right or Mrs. Right to walk in the door, because you're too busy consuming yourself with something that just doesn't work.
Look, take Kia's approach. So that would be, I guess, the best piece of advice that I could give someone who is...
And Tyler.
And Tyler's... Yeah, Tyler, she handled it a little bit differently, but still she left the situation because she knew that it wasn't right. There was the dynamic with Kev, there was something off about it, and she was right, because Kev clearly was not in the... He shouldn't have been on the show.
No.
The guy was not in the right headspace or whatever he had going on in his personal life. He was not ready to get married.
No.
So I would take Kia's approach, and there are a lot of men and women out there who are either boy crazy or girl crazy, and they have to be in relationships, and they're always seeking that, or they continue to try to make it work with someone where it's just not healthy for you to be in that relationship with that person.
Right.
So you need to know when to be able to walk away, and like you said, if you're content being okay on your own, then you're going to be okay to walk away from someone, because you're like, man, I was way happier before I met this person. I don't need this.
Right.
So, but if you're miserable before you met that person, maybe that's what you're afraid to go back
Yeah,
to.
because
Yeah.
well, you just have to ask yourself, okay, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? My life is going to be what it was before I knew they existed. You know what I mean? So you have to look at it from that standpoint. And
Yeah.
when you're dating somebody,
And hopefully you were happy.
yeah, I didn't know you 2 weeks ago, and I was okay. I had a good life. I had, things were
People that
working.
love you, and yeah.
So it's like the worst thing that's going to happen is that you go back to a great existence. And if you don't have, if your life isn't everything that you hope it to be, don't think a relationship is going to somehow repair that.
No, and it's not fair to the person either.
No, no.
If
no.
you're putting that all on them to make you whole,
Yeah.
it's not going to happen. So Vic and Christine definitely going to get married. There's a 99.9% chance that they're going to get married. And then the last couple, where we actually had a good chunk of the episode focused on uh, them about to get married, was
Emma,
Mike and Emma.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And there were many conversations that led up to the cliffhanger at the end of the episode where Emma said yes, and Mike, we don't know what Mike said, but
No.
there were conversations before this where Mike had he was talking to his parents, and it seems like his parents were not on board or approving of him marrying Emma. And I think it goes back to when they had the meeting with Emma where she did not want to commit to having a family. And while Mike was, when they gave the their what do you call them? Like not your vows, but
yeah, when they were are you talking about the scene actually at the altar?
Yeah, where they're at the altar.
Yeah.
Yep.
When they were essentially kind of like their vows, just sort of professing their love in front of everyone.
But what did he say? He's like, I need to know, are you going to have a family? He's like, I know it's not fair to put that on you right now. And I don't know, did she say?
Like she did not answer
she did
that
not
question.
Say that. So he has a very valid reason for saying no, because she did not want to commit to having a family, which is her, that's fine.
Yeah.
But now Mike has a very valid reason for saying no.
Right.
And he seemed like he was more so melancholy than excited for getting married to her. It could have been he was anxious or had a lot of anxiety leading up to it, but in my opinion it looked like he was not even on the fence about saying no. I think he was just nervous about telling her no in front of everybody.
Well, I think with Mike too is that I think he comes from a very close-knit family. I think Mike doesn't necessarily see himself in the way that his parents see him. And I think his parents see him as making a desperate attempt to commit himself to somebody that they feel is not the right person. And his mom, I believe, has probably tried to have conversations with him about this.
Because she said, I've been trying to call you, and every time I call you, you're in a bad mood. He's like, we call it the worst times.
Yeah. And I do believe in, and his mom and dad said, you don't seem happy. And I think that there are things going on with Mike, and they can see, that this is not somebody who's walking into a situation, with joy in their eyes about entering a relationship. And what's very interesting about Mike, he's a little bit more reserved. He doesn't say a whole lot, but I believe that Mike might be drawn to Emma's Emma cries a lot. Emma's very emotional, and I think Emma might be the kind of person that expresses the emotion that Mike doesn't like expressing. And it's amazing how people will be attracted to somebody that either has the ability to do the thing they cannot do or pushes them to do the thing that they can't do. And I don't think Mike says a whole lot. But I do believe that Emma has become like this emotional vessel that, because he doesn't allow himself to be emotional about anything. And they are drawn to each other for reasons that may not be the best or most sustainable for a relationship.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you can have somebody that comes into your life for a reason and a season, and they're there to teach you something, help you work through something. And I do believe that Mike and Emma are that for one another.
Yeah, because Mike loves her unconditionally. It seems they.
Well, I don't know if Mike. I think Mike thinks he's in love. I don't think. I think most of them think, other than Christine and Vic. I do believe that there's something, because if you can feel it and you're not with them, then I always believe that that's a spiritual connection. Like if I can feel your connection through a screen, then there's something there. But I think the other ones think they're in love. I think Mike thinks he loves Emma, but I think more than anything, I do believe they get along with each other. I do believe they have fun. You've seen that they went to the
The giraffes, yeah, the
giraffes. That
zoo.
was so
Yeah.
cool to see giraffes. But
Apparently they have a zoo in Ohio. I
I
didn't know this.
know
Yeah.
that was really neat. So I think they have a good friendship, but I don't think they are a marriage partnership. I think Mike has given Emma the he allows Emma to feel seen. And I don't think Emma's always felt seen in her family dynamic, but he gives her that
Yeah,
because
he gives her the attention that she's
yes,
looking for,
yes,
and I think the at least from the pods, it seemed like her main insecurity were her scars, and Mike doesn't. He never
mm-mm.
brings it
He
up.
never brings
He
those
loves her
things up.
despite it. So that's why when I say he loves her unconditionally, I guess he doesn't love her unconditionally because she
I
mentioned
just
she
think
does
it's
maybe
who
doesn't want a
he
family,
is.
but yeah, he loves her despite um, the things that she's insecure about
Oh
with
yeah,
herself.
I
So
just think that's who he is. I think
yeah,
he's just a kind person.
yeah,
I think he would have been like that with anybody. If it would have been somebody's weight, I just think that that's who Mike is, and I do believe that that's a reflection of his parents and who how they raised him to be.
understanding and accepting. Yeah,
But I also think what Emma brings to Mike is that Emma allows Mike one to feel like he has a purpose with her, because I do believe that he's the kind of guy that looks for to be the hero. I think he's got a hero complex a little bit. And I also think that he's prone to be in relationships that he is the giver, the person of giving of
provider.
them.
Yeah,
And Emma is has a lot of issues, and he sees purpose in that.
yeah, he's the strong one that he's the shoulder to cry on when she needs it, and yeah, I could see that. Yeah,
And so the problem is though is that in doing that with her, it blocks him emotionally. So that's why he gets snappy with mom, right? Because mom is trying to get him to open up about things he doesn't want to talk about. But it blocks him emotionally, and so he can put the focus back on Emma. Emma and the kids. Oh, we're gonna have kids. We're gonna, have a family. And right now, I almost feel like if I was Mike's friend, I would tell Mike, you know what? I think you should travel. I think Mike needs to have some life experiences and allow him to focus in on himself, because I think he's a naturally giving person. But he also needs to realize that when you're a giving person, you tend to attract people who need a lot and can be takers.
so you're saying he should volunteer somewhere?
Maybe not in volunteer, just do something for himself to make himself a priority, and also to know that he can have the confidence of doing that with his parents' support, but feeling also like he can make decisions for himself. Because I do believe that he has very supporting and loving parents, but I also think that Mike doesn't kind of know who he is outside of his family dynamic. So I feel like he could really benefit from getting out and kind of seeing the world, meeting people. Because one thing for sure is that I could see Mike falling in love with. I don't think I couldn't. When I think of Mike, I couldn't think of like who his partner would look like or be like. I just think that whoever it is, hopefully there's somebody that is as giving and and provide space for him too, to not always be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think Emma provides space for anybody else but Emma. But that's just the where she's at right now, and I do believe Emma has a lot of emotional
Baggage. Yeah.
issues, and I do believe things that she might not need to work with a therapist or a counselor to address, because it could be, anxiety and depression. There could be other things there that she's not even fully aware of that she needs help with. And Mike has to learn how to show up for people, but that doesn't mean you got to marry them.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you've got to commit your life to them. You can be there for somebody and then also recognize when you are outside of your wheelhouse. Like, he's not a licensed therapist.
Yeah. And so I guess we'll finish with our predictions with them, but I don't think we gave a prediction for Jordan and Amber. Do you think they end up getting married?
Jordan, Amber, I do. I do think Jordan and Amber will get married. And I think it will work. I think it will work. And the only reason why I'm going to say that it's going to work is I think that Jordan is amenable to the lifestyle that Amber would want. I think he's an easygoing guy.
Yeah.
He's kind of like, I think they both need to mind their drinking.
Yeah.
But overall, I think he's the kind of guy that he's happy, and he likes her to be happy. The only thing that I think would always be a little bit of an annoyance is that when she's upset, she shuts down, and he likes to repair.
Mm-hmm.
And oftentimes that happens in relationships where you have one person that they don't feel content until there's repair, and another person doesn't want to prepare. They would just rather be shut down there emotionally. So I think that could be, an annoyance in the relationship, but I don't think it will cause them to not get married.
Okay, so you think they're going to get married? I think they will as well. And our last prediction, leading into I guess, the final episode before the reunion, do you think Mike and Emma are going to get married?
Mike and Emma, no.
You don't?
No.
Okay.
The reason why is Mike comes from a close knit family, and no matter what, that's going to be in the back of his head. His mom and dad, and because one thing that is a common thread is family, family, family. He wants a family. Family's important. So I believe that he, even though he has shown a level of commitment, he's gonna think about what his mom and dad have said to him. I don't believe they said it on camera, but whatever they have said in private, it sticks with him.
So he's going to say no.
He's gonna say no.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
not gonna
I think he's
marry
going to
her.
say no too. I was just based on his facial expressions through the whole wedding ceremony, it just doesn't seem like he's.
He won't break up with her because
but
he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
He's not gonna just leave. He's not gonna break up with her, but he
gonna,
won't marry her.
He's going to say, I understand that you can't commit to having a family, but that's something that's a deal breaker for me, and until you're able to commit to that, I don't think we should get married. However, I do love you and care about you, and I want to continue to date you if you would like to stay in a relationship with me.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's that'll be. I guess that's where they're going to pick up next week. So that'll probably be the first thing that we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely the part of the show that it starts to get really interesting to see how all of these relationships, whether they stay together or they go their separate ways, and it kind of sets you up for what you can expect with the reunion as well. So,
yep.
You get insight into, were these things little things, or was there like major issues and tension going on and behind the scenes. So right now, I think we're accurate in what we see, and I think the reunion will kind of give us insight into the degrees of the dysfunction or insecurities that we're picking up in the episode. So I'm excited to see who maybe we'll be surprised. Maybe a couple will get married that we didn't think, like Mike and Emma. But I feel like we're gonna be right with, at least with them.
Yeah. Cool. All right, everyone. So we will see you all next week for the watch along for the finale.
See you next week.